What if I told you that the simplest words we use every single day are actually hiding a secret? That underneath it all, they're part of a hidden system that reveals exactly how we communicate. Well, today we're going to unlock one of them.
But first, let me ask you something. What actually makes a word feel simple? I mean, is it just because we use it a lot, or how easy it is to say? Or, is there something deeper going on? Just kind of keep that question in the back of your mind. For this explainer, we're going to zoom in on just one little word, a word you've probably already said or thought about today. Our guide is the Simple English Wikidictionary, and the word we're putting under the microscope is warm. So right away, as soon as we look at our source, the first thing we see is that warm doesn't just do one job. Not at all. It's kind of like a linguistic multitasker. It wears at least two really important hats in the English language. Okay, but before we even get into what it means, let's talk about how it sounds. As you can see, there's a small but pretty important difference. In the UK, it's a smoother warm, but in the US, you really hear that R sound, warm. Here's the US audio from our source. And here we go. This is the word's dual identity in action. On the one hand, warm is an adjective, right? A describing word. The Wikipedia calls it a nice temperature between cool and hot, like in the example, a nice warm house. But it's also a verb, an action word. To warm something is to increase the temperature, like the sun warmed them a little. See? Same exact word, doing two totally different jobs. And what's really cool is how you can see the word physically change to fit its role. As an adjective, you get warmer and warmest, but as a verb, it changes for tense and who's doing the action, warms, warmed. This flexibility is a huge clue to just how powerful this little word is. But believe it or not, that's not even its biggest secret. Because this is where our little investigation takes a really fascinating turn. Buried in the Wiktionary page is just a small note, a single sentence that reveals that our word, warm, is actually a member of a very exclusive, very important club. And there it is. Our source says it plain as day. Warm is on the Basic English 850 list. Okay, so what on earth is the Basic English 850 list? 850. That's the number. Now think about this. Out of over 170,000 words in the English language, only 850 were chosen for this list. That is an incredibly tiny, hand-picked group. And this isn't just a list of common words. It's a list of the most useful words. It turns out this list is the entire vocabulary for a system called Basic English. It was designed way back in the 1930s by a linguist named Charles K. Ogden, and his goal to create a super simplified version of English that anyone in the world could use to communicate clearly. A whole language built on just 850 essential words. So that begs the question, right? Why warm? What gives this one word a VIP pass to this elite club? What does it even take for a word to be considered one of the fundamental building blocks of an entire language? Well, the clues have been right in front of us this whole time. First, it's incredibly versatile. We already saw it can be an adjective and a verb, so it does the work of multiple words. Second, it's essential. It describes a fundamental concept, temperature, comfort, that is totally universal to being human. And finally, the Wiktionary page also notes that it's just plain common. It's one of the 1,000 most frequent headwords. It's a linguistic powerhouse in a tiny package. So, what's the big takeaway here? Why does this idea of Basic English and the fact that warm is on the list actually matter? Why should we care? It all comes down to the incredible power of simplicity. The very existence of Basic English proves that you do not need a giant vocabulary to express really complex, really meaningful ideas. It shows that by picking a core set of versatile and essential words exactly like warm, you can build a whole system of communication that's both easy to learn and incredibly effective. And that just leaves us with one final, kind of mind-bending thought. If a core vocabulary of just 850 words is enough to express pretty much anything you need to say, it really makes you wonder, what are the other hundreds of thousands of words even for? For nuance, for poetry, for pure precision. Maybe the real secret of language isn't just in the words we choose, but in all the infinite possibilities that lie between them. Definitely something to think about.